So today it's all about, we've talked about value. We talked about what value you bring and what value you receive from others and what you bring into others' life. The questions today is, are you a man or a woman of your word? When we're talking about value, we're talking about character, we're talking about leadership or being who you are, or even just being the hero of your own story. Now the question is, are you a man of your word? Or are you a woman of your word? What is the value that your word has? Spiritually, metaphysically, we'll talk a lot about that. We're talking about how the power of words, the power of what you're saying, how you can bring things to life just by speaking about it. How you can manifest certain things just by speaking about it. And so when you tell somebody, I'm going to do this for you, I'm going to be there for you, I commit myself to do X, Y, Z. What happened when do you actually do it? Do you actually have the intention to keep your word, to keep your engagement, to keep your commitment? That has a lot of reflection on your character, on who you are, on a deeper, grounded level. If you never keep your word, what kind of character do you have? Can people really count on you if you don't keep your word? And especially for a man, there was a time when your honor was solely based on your word. People would take your word for it. And the honor of a man, the dignity of a man, was how capable was a man to keep his word. When he asked someone in marriage, when he said he was going to be faithful, when he said he's going to protect and provide. So your words are really powerful. What you say, what you're sending out to the world in your intention, are very powerful because they can even define your own character. When you aim for something that's good and great and you don't deliver, it will have an impact on yourself. You know, the first impact is that sometimes you will even realize that you were not able to deliver, and that alone make you feel bad, can make you feel bad. But worse is sometimes when other people realize that you don't deliver. And which is not delivering one time is fine. It's like we're not talking about people who do their best and then it doesn't work out. We're talking about consistency. We're talking about generality. You're talking about your character. You're talking about all of the situation. How many times if you ended up not doing what you were supposed to do because of X, Y, Z once in a while, that is not going to affect your overall character. And you can just still be a man of your words, even though there are events that prevent you from fulfilling every single promise that you've made, so long as you try to actually hold on to them. Okay, and I think that's an important difference, and that's an important element to always take into consideration, because you should be able to tell somebody and have that force within your voice, within your core, so that every word that you say, people will trust it. Just your word, not your money, not your sweat, not your mind, not your intellect, your word. You say the same thing when you say, okay, I'm going to be there at 5. And then you show up at 5:30. You show up at 4. You don't show up at all. And then the next time you do the same thing. The next time you're going to be doing the same thing. The next time you're going to be doing the same thing. Then you're going to be treated in a way that's going to reflect that character. When it becomes a habit, it becomes part of your character. And it's going to be a lot more difficult to get rid of. That's why sometimes, every time you have a difficulty, every time something fails, you really need to recoup yourself and have a strategy not to find yourself in this situation again. Most people won't do this step. Most people will say, okay, this has happened, whatever. I'm just going with the flow. And going with the flow can lead you to have bad habits. It can lead you to repeat mistakes over and over and over again. And sometimes those are things that you can actually change. Those are things that you can actually improve. And for a man, having power to your word and having your word being respected is very, very honorable. And you will see that when people trust your word, you become a leader. You become an asset to the community. And in return, you will see that people will be much more inclined to give you the world. Because when they trust your word and they can trust your character, they will be willing to serve you. Because when you trust somebody's word, most of the time it's because this person is serving you in some form of ways. So I want you, if you never thought of yourself as a leader, if you never thought of yourself because you know, trying to humble yourself and saying, no, you're just an ordinary man, I want you to think of yourself as a hero of your own story. And the hero of that story, whatever story you want to tell, whatever story you want to live, whatever story you want to write and embody, that leader, wouldn't it be a great thing that the leader's word counted? If that leader's word was taken as for face value. Because when you do have that, you do embody this kind of character and that value in your word, people will not question you. They will trust in your wisdom, in your sincerity, in your intention to serve, in your intention to do your best, and to be in their best interest. They will trust that you will not try to use or abuse them. So it is really important, if you've never considered before, to just take a moment and think about that. To think about whether you will want to have your words embody your character. If you will want to align yourself to your purpose, whatever purpose it is that you may have. And I think the same should be said of a woman. Sometimes we focus a lot when it comes to words and honor. We focus a lot on the man. And this is why I think the thumbnail is going to be Man of Honor, the movie, just as a reference of how he kept his word to his wife, how he kept his word to himself to go and accomplish what he said to accomplish, to finish it and to push himself even beyond the odd that he thought he could go. And I want you to ponder on that. I want you to ponder on that particular story between, I think it's between the two characters, and how he was a man of his word, and that made him a man of honor. And because he was a man of honor and a man of his word, he was able to accomplish amazing things. And that's the part what I'm getting to for you. So that you realize, when you accept to be the hero in your story and you accept to direct that story, to not be just an ordinary story, but to be a wonderful, great story that you will love telling your children, that your children will tell their children, and so forth and so on. You have that ability, and everyone, that's the beauty of it, everyone has the ability to make their word count. And to reach that stage where your word is going to build your character and to provide you respect. So, for women, it is the same thing. I think sometimes, as I mentioned, we focused on the man in terms of honor, in terms of giving your word and respecting your word. But for the woman, it's the same thing. You also have to honor your words. You also have to honor your commitments. The commitment to your child, commitment to your own values, your own standards. That commitment is much more inward. It's much more like, because as a woman, you set standards. Your self-love, you have to preserve your self-love. Your self-love has to be abundant, as much as the love as you're giving outside. So your self-love within has to really be abundant. And if you're not there yet, keep working on it. Keep taking those steps. Of course, you can always contact me if you want to book a consultation, men or women, and we can discuss this. We can elaborate the steps. We can assess your situation, see where you are. Also look into your own, how are you embodying your own energy and your own spirituality, and how that can assist you in those different processes. But as a woman, just make sure that self-love is replenished, so that when you commit to somebody, to something, to a project, to a situation, you are fully committed, and committed from a place of your soul, a committed place from a place of your womb and your heart. Because as women, we are really connected. Our womb is our center of creativity, and that's the center that can give us the power to create things wherever we deeply desire. But it has to be integrated in the equation when you're making this decision, when you're opening yourself to really listen to it and infuse that in whatever else you're doing. So if you have any issues with that, you can always send me a message or ask me questions, so leave a comment below. I really thank you for staying with me and watching this video. I also wanted to say, hello to the new subscribers, or if you're watching this video and you're new, please do subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.